Hi, my friends. Today, again, we're reading from the Catholic Bible for Children. Today, we're going to read the story of Cain and Abel. It's a shorter story. We're just going to read this one chapter because the next story is Noah's Ark, and there's a couple of chapters. So we'll keep this one to itself. Last time we talked about Adam and Eve, the creation of the world, creation of people, the setup of the humans, the serpent, and Adam and Eve's yeet into the world where they must suffer now forever for their mistakes. So today we're going to read about Cain and Abel. Look at these illustrations. Looks like humans aren't doing so good anymore. That looks a little scary. So let's read about Cain and Abel. Adam had named his companion Eve, a name which means life. They were now living in a new world that did not have the peace and love of their old home. And it's their home, of course. They didn't write that, but. They do. This was a punishment for their sin of disobedience against God. Adam and Eve had to work hard to eat. They made clothes for themselves from animal skins in order to protect themselves of the cold of the night and the winter. They began to kill animals to protect themselves and also to eat. Eventually, though, a terrible day arrived in which even human blood was shed. Adam and Eve had many children. The first two were boys. They were named Cain and Abel. Cain had a dark spirit, and he was a farmer, while Abel was gentle, and he was a shepherd. One day, Abel sacrificed the best lamb of his flock to God, and Cain made an offering as well. God, showing how much he appreciated Abel's generosity, looked upon his sacrifice and smiled. Cain felt ignored and he became jealous. God asked him, "What is bothering you? If you do what is right, then all will be well. If you do something evil, you will have sinned." Cain let his anger and jealousy grow till it became hate. One day he said to his brother, "Abel, let's go out to the fields." Abel followed him. They went far away from everyone else. Cain wickedly attacked and killed his brother. He then ran away, convinced that no one had seen what he had done. Yet he quickly heard the voice of God. "Cain, where is your brother?" "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" The Lord cried out, "What have you done?" Abel's blood cries out from the earth. May you be cursed, and you will continuously seek refuge and wander the rest of your life. This is the third chapter in the children's Bible. So 3 chapters in, and humanity has already been cursed in a variety of ways. We really biffed it from the get-go. So we start out right, like I said, we read about Adam and Eve's creation, and then the serpent, and then they got kicked out of the garden of wonderfulness. And then their 2 kids, their first 2 kids, Cain and Abel. I'm sure if you're like me, you have a lot of questions about like Cain and Abel and like where the rest of the humans come from. Was there some other set of people that other humans come from, or were we doing it with our siblings? Probably. And mom, I guess, right? Because if I don't know, let's say daughters, but we don't record daughters. That's an aside. That's all an aside. So their first 2 kids, Cain and Abel, boys. Cain is just born with a dark spirit. I mean, God makes everything, right? Like, so what's this deal with the dark spirit nonsense? And okay, I guess that aside, he's just got a dark spirit. Cool. And then Abel is a shepherd, and this is like our first sacrifice to the Lord. What? I really want to know, like, why does God like dead animals so much? Why does he want why does Abel sacrifice? So Abel's got a flock of sheep, right? And he has his best lamb, right? And lamb are the young ones, right? So he's got his best lamb, and he takes that lamb to an altar and he kills it. And it sounds to me in this case, he just kills it. And God's like, really appreciate this dead young animal that you just got for me. Thank you so much for taking the best of your flock, and instead of, I don't know, breeding it, eating it, even getting its yarn, its wool, instead of I don't know, caring for it because it is your best lamb, instead of like caring for it and loving it and having it, feeding it well and giving it its best life because it's a creature that God made. God is like, you know what? I really would like for you to take this lamb and kill it for me. In fact, it's best if when you kill it, its blood goes everywhere, right? We really like like a slaughtering where there's like a lot of blood. And sometimes we like to burn it like incense. God is like a really big fan of dead animals, especially the really good ones. Cain, on the other hand, just like gave a little sacrifice, maybe not his best veg, right? He's a farmer. He didn't take his best produce and slaughter it. However, you slaughter vegetables for sacrifice for God. So because he didn't sacrifice the best veg, he was very unhappy that God was not pleased. And God was like, dude, if you just knew what was right and wrong, you would not be evil and sin. Is this a sin? Not sacrificing your best vegetables? I don't know. Anyway, so listen, I kind of get Cain. Cain's like, wow, I can't do it right. I can't create a good sacrifice. Do I really need to take my best animal when I'm not even a shepherd? Like, do I got to take my best tomatoes and like, you know, like, how do I do the sacrifice right? He's not sure and he gets it wrong and he's so mad. And so he takes his brother. It's like, hey, bro, let's go out to the fields. And it sounds like unprovoked. I don't know. I get the feeling though, like Abel's like he's like a know-it-all. He's like a people pleaser, right? He's like, I gave God the best sacrifice. You know, like I did it. I got the smile out of God. And Cain's like, you are such a jerk. And he killed him. I don't know what the real story is. He just, Bible says they go out and Cain kills him. But I got a feeling there's more to this story. And so I guess like this one's a little more serious. Like I guess I kind of get like punishment for Cain in a way that like, because now we've eaten the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And so we know what's good and bad theoretically now, and we know what sin is. We've had the lesson about disobeying, you know, from this situation with the serpent. I'm assuming Adam and Eve shared this with their children. We shouldn't disobey God. He like tells us to do something and we should just do it. He gets very mad. And so I guess like Cain's got a little more knowledge. And so maybe he knew, right? He probably knows that it's evil to kill humans because it's like, right? But he is punished forever. Not just him, again, not just him, all of his children, all generations after him, right? You will continuously seek refuge and wander the rest of your life. People are not allowed to make mistakes in these Bibles. And I'm not saying murdering somebody is like a mistake, because that's bad. I agree. don't murder people. Don't murder your brother because you're mad at him. There's other ways. There's other ways to handle this situation. But God really, he really just like overdoes it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like right from the get-go. It's a bit much. It's a tad too far, God. Like Adam and Eve cursed for all generations, right? Original sin, and now we're all screwed. And Cain shouldn't have killed his brother, but also like life punishment. Make up your own minds about Cain's punishment. I don't know. Share below if you think that Cain's punishment was fair and correct. Again, though, I just kind of feel like we don't have the story. Anyway, next time, children, we're going to read about Noah's Ark and the flood, which is a super cute story where God kills everyone on earth, including all the animals, except for the ones he likes. We'll read that next time. See you then.